everybody. That would help if Kim Boudreaux Smith, radio host, didn't have her mic on mute. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another Down and Dirty. I've got my baby brother Scott on the line here. I claim him as my baby brother. I hope you don't mind that, Scott.
I am baby brother to the world. I swear to God. I had Josh McKenzie here. He's my co-host for the Education Podcast yesterday. And he was just talking about like everything I do is to lovingly get under everyone's skin. And so he started laughing and he said, it's like I'm baby brother to the entire world. So I don't mind at all.
I love you. You really are. You are like the baby brother to the entire world. And by saying that you're the baby butter, baby butter.
Baby butter.
Say that. Oh, by the way, let's just get this out of the way. Our wonderful producer Nesha brought beer to the party today, Scott. So we're drinking. We're partying while we're live.
What?
Yeah,
What?
ice cold beer. Isn't he good?
I held off getting whiskey because it was the middle of the day and he's sitting there with a beer. This is horrible.
I wish I was sitting here. He's got cold beer waiting for us. Anyways, it's so funny. But you are the baby brother to this whole world, but the baby brother shows up with an unbelievably amount of wisdom for such a short amount of time that you've been on this planet Earth. And, you're just a cool dude. I mean, you're the real deal, and cliche as that sounds, I don't care. You're the real deal. But hey, you and I are broadcasting live today at Bold Radio Station. It's another Down and Dirty show, and it's just Kim and Scott and Kim today. It's Howard and Robin.
Fred Astaire and Ginger. Only today I want to be a little bit more Fred than Ginger. Is that cool? Are we okay with that? Because you're usually Fred, and I'm okay wearing the skirts and dancing in heels around you and stuff like that. But today I've kind of got a bit of I don't know, a direction I want to take this.
Oh, go right ahead.
Yeah,
I'm going to snap back. Wait a minute. Hey, Nesha, can our awesome producer Nesha, the wonderful team here too at Bold as well. Big huge shout out to him. Hey, Nesha, can you serve us the beer now, please? And thank you.
And actually, while we have Nesha's attention, Nesha, could I get like a customary throat clear because you didn't tell us to shut up at all today, and I feel so bad. Just to tell me when to. There we go. That throat clear has become legendary to me. Like it stops me dead in my tracks. Whatever I'm doing, I'm like, Nesha needs us to be quiet now. I love that guy. So yeah,
he is amazing.
I kind of wanted to take today. Usually we've got a guest on and we get to hear their insights and their pet peeves and all of their stuff. But today I wanted to kind of just, since we knew it was just going to be us, we had a guest, but he had to drop out. He's going to be on later on, which is still exciting. And he would have been a great guest to have for this too, because life took a really interesting turn for me recently, Kim.
Oh,
I don't know.
I'm really. What you got a lot going on. I know that. Do you want to share with everybody what's going on?
I think it's a good idea.
You got some cool stuff going on, Scott. Really cool stuff.
Yeah, it's been interesting, and you and I talk about it, behind the scenes and off the air, and so you know a lot more about me than the average bear does. But I've got just some things going on that I'm really pumped about. One. A couple of weeks ago, well, actually a couple of months ago, everyone knows pretty well that my life just went really down. And through no real actions or fault of my own, I was unable to pick it back up right away. You do the struggle, you do the hustle, you keep in your lane and you just keep doing the best you. And people say that it turns around. And this time, like I can honestly say that there's zero, I don't lack any faith in that process anymore. Before I was like, when is it going to be my turn? It's my turn. It's one of those things where I'm starting to realize that at every stage of life, there are dips and there are bumps and there are things we have to get over and things we have to hustle through. But I'm realizing that the upswing always comes. And so 2 weeks ago, I had my car break down or start to basically break down. I had to move out of my place. I had a bunch of stuff going on with my, roommate, and we had to try to figure out what we were going to do about living situations and things like that. My mom had a bit of a health scare. There's a lot going on. And so I was very in a strange place, but everyone was telling me, like yourself, Lynn even jumped in and gave me some support, and
Yep. Yep.
a lot of my coworkers, a lot of people in the Podcast Discovery Center, my co-hosts, a lot of my colleagues, they were saying like, just keep your head down, muscle through it. You'll get through it and it'll be great. And so I did. And then this week it started, like, I swear to God, it started on Saturday, like Sunday at midnight or Saturday. Just everything started to change and shift for me. And I got a call during the playoffs. Like, I was watching playoff hockey, and I got a call, and I got invited to start building an online course for this Genius Academy. It's called. The gentleman's name is Asa Laveau, and he's putting together an academy for infopreneurs.
Cool.
And so he asked me to jump in and be the podcasting face of that, and that made me so happy. So I started working on that, and then my show numbers started going up like through the roof, and I'm not even sure what happened. We got a ton of amazing reviews about our show, the Down and Dirty Show. People are like really loving it for whatever reason. I can't figure it out. You can't figure it out, but that's not our job, right? We just get on here and do what we do.
Yep.
And then Kim, I'm just gonna flat out say it. A girl came into the picture. Your baby brother might be in love.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a bit tricky. It's kind of hard to navigate, but just all of these things started happening back to back to back, just bam, 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 bam. And it made me really realize that, like Cole said, Cole was mentioning it before as a past guest. He said that you just have to have faith in the process, and you have to have faith that good things are coming to you, and you have to have faith in all of that. Just the plan is going to play out. And it sounds so cliche, but now I'm sitting here 100 times better than I was just 2 weeks ago, and nothing really happened. Like, it's all just the emotional state of things, and just what has been coming into my life has completely changed my outlook and my perspective. Mm-hmm. And so that was amazing. And so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about a little bit today, was just like relationships and the curve and the way things are going and how things, I know last week you were going through a bit of a frustration point too.
Yep.
And that was one of the things that I said, is just change your perspective and focus on happiness and focus on what it's going to take to make you happy.
Yeah.
And I'm noticing that's a huge difference maker,
Yeah, you're right. It is. It really, truly, it is. You know what? You brought it, that R word, and and we will have some relationship experts on this show. But let's talk about the relationship, because the relationship all begins with us. It's the relationship with us.
Yep.
It's like you said. We have to change up the way we think, and so we change up the way we feel. We change up the way we perceive the perspective on things, and it's that relationship, bottom line, all with ourselves. And my big frustration, my big current frustration is people, Scott, can walk around and talk up shit words about how great they are. and something, and listen, every human being is miraculous. So look at your hand. We're all born with an M in the lines in our hands. That's a miracle. We're miraculous. So I believe all human beings are great, but I don't believe that people are great. And this is my belief. I own this. I don't believe people are great when you fuck somebody else over, when you break a commitment, when you're out of alignment of integrity, and you're out there with your chest out like a rooster, boasting, saying, not, I said you, not say per you, Scott, but when a person's out there boasting, hi, I have integrity. Here, let me shake your hand. My name is Kim. I have integrity, and I'm spiritual. And I know I'm beginning to sound like a broken record, but when you have to state what you are, you've lost sight of your total being.
I call it good man syndrome. I do. Good man syndrome, because you ever notice that a good man never says he is, but the shittiest men always walk around saying that they're good men?
Yeah.
So I call it good man syndrome, but it happens in every relationship, be it a business relationship, a family relationship, a romantic relationship, a friendship relationship. You don't need to say these things. You just act and do, and your actions sing your song for you.
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. I'm reading a book, a colleague, friend, connection, Joey, she just wrote a book. She just released her book, and it's about branding and visibility. And she said that she refers to that. When you are just in alignment, you sing the song sings. You sing your song, the song sings. And I'm paraphrasing, those aren't her exact words. And I'm not prepared. I don't have her book here in my studio. It's in the other room.
Oh, what are you doing,
Um,
Kim?
I
Quoting
know.
people and you don't have their book?
I didn't think we were going to bring this all up. This is how raw and real Scott are on this show. I mean, we don't pre-plan, pre-rehearsed freaking nothing. We
Oh
don't
no. I
because
called 2 minutes before the studio, like before they got on. I called literally 2 minutes. I got on. Nesh's like, we have 45 seconds. I was like, okay, Kim, let's do
let's
this. And
do
then
it. I
we
mean,
got on the
yeah.
air and we decided where to take the show.
Well,
Relationships today.
that's and that's that's what I love about live live radio is you don't get to stop and rewind. You don't get to stop and pause and edit and fix it. It is what it is. This is one of my favorite shows is because we lay it out, and it's been fun because I was thinking about this morning when I was driving. We've had a lot of guests on here that have podcast shows, and a lot of our guests that come through have some amazing shows, podcasts. They host podcasts, and it's interesting. Each one I get to experience how they show up, but they get a little flippin', so to speak, with this live radio.
Yeah, it is true. It changes their whole perspective. And I'll tell you what, I am a podcaster first and foremost. Well, actually, I'm a salesman first and foremost. Then I'm a podcaster. Live radio was something that I've never done. Even though I had a radio job as a kid, it was still pre-recorded and put on the air. And so live is new to me. And I'll be honest with you. I was just telling someone, I think 10 minutes before I got on the show, that I'm nervous again today. Like every Wednesday, I am nervous to get on the air.
Are
Every
you
Wednesday.
really?
Yep.
Really?
Yep. Just like every time before I get on stage to do a stage show, I get nervous. And I'm not talking like sick to my stomach, shaking, cold sweats, nervous. It's just that whole uncertainty of where's the show going to go today. It's
Oh,
just Kim and I
yes.
today. We get
Yes.
controversial. We swear a lot.
Yes.
I'm surprised we haven't dropped any F-bombs yet, but it's coming. I know it.
I think I
But
did. Didn't I already drop one? I think I did.
fuck it, we're good. But it's one of those things where I do get nervous before I get on this show. And so watching the guests go through that too is so much fun for me. Like it's satisfying.
Yeah, but down, something, it has really opened up my eyes that, because I stood back for a moment, Scott, and I'm like, okay, so this is live radio. You guys are a podcast. You host a show. That's where my head went. And then I went, oh, I
We
get
get
it.
to
Because,
edit.
yeah, because, or you get to stop if there's a mistake, because I've been interviewed by podcasters before and they came out tripping up a little bit on my name and my bio, which I could care less about. And they're, oh, I'm going to stop and start over. And I'm like, okay, it's your show, but why? Just keep going. I mean, do you know how many times I've hosted a live radio show where it's just one of my days where I keep tripping over my tongue? Come on, people have had that. Life is life, but yeah, let's come back around. I mean, Scott, that's beautiful. That relationship that you brought up, the relationship starts first and foremost with one's self.
It is true. And if you
You know,
have to walk around with your chest puffed out, pretending you are something you're not, I've read it somewhere, and I've read it multiple places, but chances are the thing you're loudest about is the thing you're worst at. And I feel like there's a lot of guys out there, and actually the girl that I'm talking to right now, we're in negotiations, if you will, about what kind of relationship we want to have, because she lives it's a distance thing. She lives in Toronto. I don't, you know? And so it's one of those things where, like, for the last 7 years of our lives, have you ever seen the movie Dirty Love, Kim?
no, who's in that? I don't think so.
It's Jenny McCarthy, Carmen Electra. Like, it's a lot of really
No.
good-looking women,
Mm-mm.
and then
No.
yeah, well, it's a horribly done movie. Like, it's so bad, but it's bad on purpose. Like, the acting is just so terrible, it's great. And the whole point of this film is that this girl keeps hooking up with these horrible, horrible guys. and she doesn't know what's wrong with her. And she's like, why do I keep attracting these horrible men? My life is crap. These men are all like, basically, these men are shitheads and douchebags and they treat me like shit. What's up? And this whole time during this movie, there's this guitarist friend of hers that like goes in and gives her sage advice about the fact that she should value herself more. She should, get some standards, stop picking out guys because they're either good looking or have money or this or that or whatever it happens to be in with that specific guy. He's saying just take a more well-rounded approach and respect yourself first. And then the quality of man you attract in your life will go up. And the whole point of this film is like she goes to a psychic and the psychic tells her that she should be on the lookout for her white pony because it will happen. So this whole time she's looking for like a very blatant sign. And at the, like something so hard to, it just hits her between the eyes at the end of the movie. But like at the end of the movie, it ends up being, and a spoiler alert for anyone who wants to go see, this best friend of hers who has been there for God knows how many years, he wears shoes and they're called ponies and they're white, like white. And she only notices it because it like slaps her right in the face. Well, that's kind of what we're going through right now, my friend and I. We've been in each other's lives for 7 years. We've seen the absolute worst things about each other. We've seen some of the best things about each other. And it just so happened that the two of us kind of came to a point where we were like, holy shit. We actually can stand each other after all of this.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should get to talking and figure out what's next because no one else has really hit the bar, hit the standard that we need. And she called it a reality slap. She said her subconscious gave her a reality slap because I was around so long. But like my opinion is that nothing happens till it's meant to. And so we both had to get to a level of maturity where we were okay to start talking about this without, completely ruining a friendship. But the truth was that she only started ignoring nothing guys when she started valuing herself and realizing, fuck, I'm worth more than this. And I only started considering her as an option at all when I stopped looking for girls who were after money or after looks or after certain things. Like I took all of my insecurities and I looked for a partner that could help me with those, which is the dumbest thing in the world to do.
Looking outside of yourself. Yeah.
For fulfillment and shit. That's not what you do. That's not how you do it.
Yeah. You set yourself up for that.
The inevitable downfall.
Oh my God. Huge inevitable downfall. Huge.
So I will honestly say, like, are you going to be seeing your husband this evening?
Later on, traveling?
Yes. Later on. Give that man a hug and a kiss and tell him it's from me. Seriously.
Oh, Scott, I will.
Because he's probably going to find that weird because, I mean, I what did I say on his birthday? Happy birthday, honey, or something like that? Like he was on his way out the door. Have a good day, baby.
Baby.
Yeah, he's going to love me. I know it. But, like, you guys have been together for a long time.
Yeah, we're both second marriages.
Yeah, and you've seen the ups, you've seen the downs, you've seen the worst of each other, the best of each other, and you guys are still kicking. And to me, that means a lot.
Well, my husband has seen the ups and the downs and the worst and the worst and the worst of Kim Boudreaux Smith, and he's still, my husband's the kind of person he's a husband that says, look, I just want to see you happy. Do what you got to do. I just want to see you happy. And off he goes to play golf, and off he goes to work, and or he stops by to pick up Grace and take her to a doctor's appointment because you and I are broadcasting live today. He's just like,
yeah.
You want to meet me later on? I got to entertain some clients. Come on up afterwards, blah, blah, blah. That's just the kind of guy my husband is. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't want that to portray behind my closed doors that things are perfect, because they're far removed from perfect, because he has his downfalls too. He's a human being, but he's a great guy. He's easygoing. He can jump on the best of us. I mean, like you saying to him, hey, happy birthday, honey, have a good day. He can flow with that. That shit doesn't rattle my husband.
Well, that's good, because I rattle everybody.
Yeah, I mean, he just goes with it. I mean, it's like we've had, I have colleagues around the world that are coming through Detroit, and it's like, don't you even think twice about getting a hotel room. You stay with us. And he's he's like, yeah, there's just no none of that goes down. He's just open to all of that.
And I love that.
Yeah, I do
Like, I
too.
really love that.
Yeah, it allows me to flap my wings and be me. And and I can't be with anybody else that is going to suffocate me or tell me no. And don't get me wrong, there's been conversations where he's looked at me and says, "Well, you can't do that." And I just go, "Whoop." Okay, let me show you, and I'll give you a quick circumstance about this. Is several years ago on a Sunday morning, it was unseasonably in April hot here. It was hot, and I was invited to a friend colleague's home for a brunch and there's a nonprofit that she's involved with. It was an awareness, and it was called the Itafari Foundation. Itafari means brick in Kinyarwanda. Kinyarwanda is the language in Rwanda, Africa. This woman, Vicky Trabosh, drove up from Indiana, and professional speaker, motivating, started this nonprofit, and then she proceeded to say there that morning, I don't take a lot of people organized trips into Africa, because you can't just get on a plane and show up and hello, we're here. There's a process involved of getting permits and things like that. And she announced that day, she goes, but I am taking 6 people. This was in April, she said, in end of September, end of August, beginning of September. And I went, no, Scott, this is not like you and I wanting to go skydiving bucket list. This is my bucket. This is the bucket to go to Africa and work like this for a week. So I came home and I'm like, oh my God, you're not going to believe this, blah, 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 la, 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 blah, 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 blah. And my husband says, well, you can't do that. Now's not a good time. Okay. So I just tilted my head and said, okay. A couple weeks later, an email came through from Vicky, and it's her normal monthly email for the foundation. And, on the side of it was all the details of the trip. And I'm going, damn, and at the very, very bottom, now here's the other bucket. We will take a day off and put money back into the country, and you have a choice. You can go on a safari, or you can go up into the jungle and sit with a family of gorillas. Okay, I've always wanted to sit with a family of gorillas. I don't know what it is. I'm not Jane Goodall. They fascinate the hell up out of me. I'm like, oh shit, the signs. So I thought, you know what? So many people raise money to run, do races for cure for cancer and blah, and raise money, and it goes to the nonprofit, right? So why can't I do that? So I put together a letter. I started sending it out, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to raise money to go to this nonprofit to also sponsor me to go on this trip. But my husband and I are going to contribute to half of my amount, and the rest I'm going to raise. And I raised over that. And I told him that night at dinner, I came home. He's like, let's go to dinner. We sat down. He's across the table. He's like, so how was your day? And I said, it was really great. I'm going to Africa. Okay, you want to see a man go 5 shades of white? I mean, he went completely white. And I said, you'll never learn. Don't ever tell me I can't do something because I'm going. He's like, oh, no, hold on. Time out. He goes, time out. He goes, Kim, third world country. You don't know these people you're traveling with. I said, I'm going to Africa. And you get a choice. You can either drop me off that day I'm leaving at the airport, or I'll find someone to take me to the airport. And I said, and we're not going to be responsible for the whole expense of this. I said, but I did commit us to half of it. And he goes, okay. He goes, this is doable. This is all do. Off I went. And I haven't replaced my bucket. I have the list. The list just is there. I haven't replaced the container. That was the bucket. But it's nice. Like, don't tell me you can't. Don't tell me you can't. And I just had a swift kick in the butt, as a matter of fact, this morning, phone call from Sheila Kennedy. You know something, Scott? I'm shouting out a lot of people today. Let's see. Go ahead. See if they listen to the show and they catch their names. And she did the same thing. I was talking to her about something, and she's like, there's always a way around something. I'm like, yeah, there is, because I'm dealing with 2 of my previous books and changing publishers and stuff. And I did. I know that. And I'm like, oh, for a minute here, I paid for all this, but no, there's a way around this. There really is a way around this. But yeah, it's interesting when we let go, when we surrender. And I don't mean surrender to the bag of Doritos laying on the couch and drinking that ice cold beer that our producer. is, serving us.
Or surrender to that spouse that's very controlling and just doesn't want you to be you. You don't surrender that way either. You shouldn't surrender yourself.
Right. You should never
However,
surrender. Well, never. My thing is, and I think you've heard me say this, Scott, I don't bow down to man. I bow down to a higher power. And my belief is God. I don't
yeah,
bow to man. We should never bow to man. We are here to serve and pay it forward to man, but we are not to be bowing down. And you're right. That is surrendering, like you started, when you're saying, when you are out there.
trusting the process.
Yeah. And having faith in yourself. I mean, and just trusting that process and having faith and surrendering to that, as opposed to like that movie you were using is like, oh my God,
Dirty Love.
is that white shiny? Is that pony? Where? Wait a minute, I'm looking out my window. Damn it, I don't see that white pony yet. Again, it's like, no, that's like Cinderella's village trying to force the foot in the glass slipper.
Right? When it's supposed to fit, it's a natural fit.
Yes.
It just works. And those ponies were walking through that girl's living room every single day for 7 years, and the whole trusting the faith and having just surrendering and trusting the process and having faith that things will work out. Like I said, nothing has changed for me.
No.
My perspective and my energy and my plan has changed. I put an actual definite plan into motion. I've got deadlines and things like that now. And so that to me is that helps. And that changes my perspective, and it almost causes a momentum shift. But truth be told, at the end of the day, you just have to trust the process and trust that things are going to line up for you and things are going to work out for you, and it's going to happen so naturally, and it's going to take you by storm. You're not going to understand how it happened. It's going to hit you like a comet.
And we don't need to sit there and analyze how it happened, because now we get into that analyzation of, well, why? Well, why? Well, let's drop. That's a word, by the way, that's a word that needs to be dropped out of our dictionary, is WHY, and get into.
And probably. I'm sorry, but probably is a good one too. Asa
probably.
Laveau,
Asa
Laveau, the guy I'm working with right now, he said that if you say the word probably, you're probably heading to a place of imagination and lies.
Mm-hmm.
Because probably means you don't know the answer and you don't know the fact.
Yep.
And why? Why is a dangerous question. You're absolutely right.
Well, we should stay. I just should all over everybody. Yes, curiosity is a place that is a beautiful place to be standing, but not, and when we start with the word why, that is, you're asking a question. That is curiosity. But how about if you started, instead of why, the other W, what?
Yes.
See how more power-filled and softer that is, as opposed to, because why can have such an accusatory effect to it. But if you just say, but what if blah, 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 or what happens blah, 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 as opposed to why.
You're sticking to fact.
Mm-hmm.
Why? There's a reason why is the last question. Who, what, when, where, all facts. Why?
Yeah.
That's the reason. That's up to the individual. That's the reason. Like, even in court, you can try to guess somebody's motive, but it's an educated guess at best. Yeah. You never really know why. So that's a time waster.
Yeah, it really is. It's one of the words, with I feel competition, which we had a huge not huge. We had a conversation in a private Facebook group I'm in that I really have not popped up except for today when the word competition came up. And boy, that's another word that needs to be X-nayed on out of here. The word TRY, try, WHY, competition. There's a lot of words, the South uses, as opposed to, I'm going to try. They say, I'm fixing.
Yeah.
Our producer's sending us some messages too. By the way, I think we need to send him out for some more ice cold beer. And by the way, I want Blue Moon with a double orange slice, please. Nesha, what kind of beer do you want, Scott?
Whatever he's got, honestly. Like, I'm an Alexander Keats fan. I'm a Pride of Nova Scotia kind of boy, but honestly, I will not turn down a free beer. If there's beer and food, if you've got an event and there's beer and food, chances are you can invite me and I will show.
You'll be happy.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, like, I gotta say, like, you're definitely right on the whys, the tries. These are all self-sabotaging things. And if you stay focused on, if you say I'm going to try, it means you're probably not serious. If you have to ask someone why, I would say, could I get some clarification on that?
Yeah.
Or things like that. Or yourself. Like, it's good to know your why, your divine purpose, the reason you're here, your objective. Why do I want to do podcasts? Why do I want to help people set up podcasts? If I didn't have my why, I probably wouldn't do it, because guess what? It's a lot of work.
Yes.
And it's a lot of slamming my head against walls and people avoiding me and people, clients getting nervous and having to talk them through their nerves and trying to talk them through the process and educating people on technology. Kim, you know what technology's like.
Yes.
Now try to teach someone who has no idea how to use it
No.
how to build a podcast.
No.
You really need to know why you're doing something like this at the end of the day, or you'll quit.
You're
But
right.
that's the only time why matters.
Yeah, the tears and the frustrations. Yeah, you're exactly. It is the only time why matters. So our producer typed in, where is the what if the what is in the why? And thank you for my second beer, Nesha. I appreciate that.
How many has he had? He's getting all philosophical on us.
He really is. He's a pretty philosophical guy. Boy, I tripped. Now, see, there we go. Live radio. I'm tripping over my words.
It's a podcast after. We can just edit that out. Yeah, we're not going to, though. We don't roll that way. But yeah, one of the things that I wanted to speak on, like about the whole relationship thing, we talked about the why. Why comes out of an insecurity. Mm-hmm. It causes anxiety. The try comes out of insecurity. The loudness and that need to stifle other people and tell other people they can't do things, that comes out of insecurity. The need to walk around with your chest puffed out and pretend you're something you're not, that comes from insecurity. So it's honestly been my belief for a long time that the reasons why all relationships fail, be it business, be it friendship, be it family, be it romantic, is because of someone's insecurity and their inability to let the other person just be.
Yeah.
And so it's amazing that you found that, and it's amazing that you found someone who was like really game with you going to Africa, because there are other women and men, I'm not going to just stick to women, but women's where I see it most. There are other women out there who the second the husband just says, no, you can't. Okay, done. And they live their whole life like that, being told what they can and cannot do, asking for permission and all of that, which has never, ever been my game. Like, I don't ask permission to give people the finger on live video interviews. I just do. I don't even know why I do that. It's just something I do. I'm wearing a shirt right now that says, stay sexy, stay hungry, get laid. And I posted that all over the internet, letting people know that I'm going to be doing this show, because this is a tame fucking show today, Kim. I'm going to say that.
I know. Well, you and I are mellow yellow today,
Scott. We are not our usual pissy selves. This is great and weird.
I know. It is great and weird.
But
yeah, it is.
It pisses me off when a woman gets into a relationship. And I'm going to say woman because I'm the guy who has to sit around and coax and talk all of his female friends through their crappy boyfriends. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here single going, the fuck's wrong with all of you?
Well, I see that. I do. I see that, we are still in a society where women are giving away their self-worth. And and hold on. So I will get a little racy this morning, this afternoon. This is where I don't know. I just shake my head and go, Kim, your imagination or your visualization is so freaking off the wall. I mean, so when I say that, Scott, that women are still giving their self-worth away. You know what I visualize when I say that? A woman's laying down and just prostituting herself out. I can't help it. I just my visualization just goes south, and that's what I feel in the 21st century. When the fuck is this shit going to stop?
It doesn't until the individual woman stops it. I'll tell you right now. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
We are picking on the female gender, and I work a lot with females, and this is awesome because being that you are a man, the opposite sex here today,
Loosely.
What? Women, stop bringing your fucking personal baggage into business. I'm to a point, I don't even know how to respond to the bullshit anymore. I don't. I don't know what to say anymore. And I'm not good at being quiet or, for lack of words, but it's like, I understand we have aging parents. I understand we lose parents. I understand we go through divorce or we go through breakups. I understand kids get sick. I get that. I have parents. I am dealing with a father that is not doing too well. Last year I showed up to a team meeting. I'm sitting in my team meeting, and that in a couple hours after that meeting, my vet's coming to the house to put Coda down because that day was horrible. I still show up. I still show up to my commitment. I might not be all jolly and wally and woo hoo hoo like a cheerleader, but I show up.
And that is the same thing within your relationship too. Like I hate to say it, but like my mother, I love her to death. I adore her. She's the most important woman in my life. I've said it before. My mother's number one, my sister's number two, and my spouse is number three. And it's basically until there is a mother of my children involved, that is just the fucking pecking order. That's how it goes based on what woman has done the most for me in my life selflessly without any form of compensation. That's mom's, and she married a soldier. And I'm not talking fresh into the service. Like, this guy is balls to the wall, jumping out of planes, hardcore military, served 28 years. Even though he only had to serve 25, he's still doing military. He still wants to go boots on the ground overseas. Like, this guy's a beast in every sense of the word, a complete beast. And he comes home and he's a beast here too.
Wow.
But the thing is, mom never let him stomp her down. He'd come in and yes, he would try to be authoritative. You can't do that. Don't talk to me like that. Don't do that. That's how he is. He's like that every day at work. He was like that with us as kids. Mom was the only person I know who looked at him and went, no, honey, you don't talk to me like that. And it knocked him back. He's got such a respect for this woman, and he's so nice to this woman because she literally said, I'm not playing that game. I'm not going to be someone else's, no one's going to control me. I control me. As age takes them, both of them are starting to mellow out a bit. And mom's becoming, I'm not going to say submissive, but a lot less, a lot less driven and pride fighty. But she still doesn't submit. She does what she wants to do. And even though she wants to do a lot less these days than she used to, she still does things her way and by her right and how she wants to. And if her husband has an issue with it, well, that's his issue. And he's got to come to terms with that.
Something, Scott, in a marriage, in a relationship, whatever, you're going to have, we're human beings. We've got two human beings living together, whether it's man, woman, same sex. I don't know. I don't care. Let's just two human beings living together. You're going to have times where you butt up heads against one another. I don't always agree how my husband handles things, but at the end of the day, I respect him, and I don't need to agree with everything on how he does it. I mean, it works for him. I respect him at the end of the day. It doesn't mean that I would do it that way, but it doesn't mean that I also get to come in and start, disrespecting and, this and that and this and that. We're always going to have that when you're living with two people, two human beings are living together. And then you throw kids into the dynamics. Yeah. You're always going to have all of that. That's where maybe some arguments come in. Unfortunately, I don't think the human being walking the planet of the earth right now in this 21st century is trained enough to work through kinks in the road. So what do? Fuck you, I get a divorce. I'm getting a divorce. I'm out of here.
Well, it's one of the things where you said a very key thing, Kim. You respect him. He respects you. But there are a lot of girls and guys out there right now who are in relationships and going out and looking for relationships, and they're latching onto people who just don't fucking have any respect for them. It's out of a place of, like I said, either insecurity and they feel more secure about themselves by having someone there, or maybe it's the money, or maybe it's the fact that, fuck it, maybe it's the good sex. Let's be adults here. Maybe they make you
Right.
feel good physically, maybe they make you feel good mentally, but at the end of the day, if they don't treat you with respect, you're going to have a bad relationship. It's going to feel empty.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the point that I've always been trying to make with this girl that I'm speaking to now, with all of my friends, with everybody in general. If I go into a business deal and I know that person doesn't respect me, fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Oh,
I'm not doing it. If I go to hang out with friends who I know deep down don't respect me, then they're not my friends.
yeah.
And it's easy to tell. Do they make digs at you? Do they attack your personality? If they do, they don't respect you.
Yep.
Do they put themselves over you every chance they get? Or do they actually choose you sometimes? You know, those are things you have to look for. When they speak to you, what kind of language do they use? When they're around you, what kind of body language do they use? Are
Yep.
they actually asking you how your day is? Or are they trying to jump in the sack right away? You know, like, pay attention and think to yourself, how do you like to be respected? And build a fucking list if you have to. Like, a friend of mine asked me why I'm still single not too long ago, and I still have the text message I sent back. And it was literally just a list of my standards. And I'm not saying like I have huge standards, but it was like, I need a lady who, she doesn't have to understand my career, but she has to respect that I have one, and she has to respect what goes into it, and that clients sometimes may take priority in crisis situations.
Mm-hmm.
She has to be able to respect herself and understand that I'm not always going to have 100% of the time for her. She's got to be able to amuse herself, enjoy herself, get out there and do what makes her happy. You know, she's got to like sex, because I am a very physical being. I can't help that. That's me. And I'm not going to lie about it or suppress that to make someone else happy. You know,
Right.
I'm not that way. She's got to understand that, you know, you don't call me selfish. You don't call me an asshole. You don't attack my character at all, because I will never, ever attack yours. And it was this fucking text. And I was like, I think I answered that question very well. I'm going to keep that. And that's going to be my measuring stick of every relationship I get into. Because if I don't respect myself to get into the relationship I truly want, my spouse is not going to respect me either.
Yeah, exactly. But you know something, Scott, the bottom line here, it all comes with respect for yourself first and foremost, for oneself,
Always.
not yourself, for oneself first and foremost. So if you do have a list of high expectations of what you expect in another human being, make it higher, make it stronger. You know what I'm saying? I think, it's like, I don't agree. I can be on the outside looking at my husband going, God, I just don't know how you can be gone for hours on end and playing 18 holes of golf that takes 4 hours. Oh my God, stick a freaking fork in my eye. And I've played golf 2 times. I get being outdoors. The golf courses are beautiful. I last about 4 holes. I'm done, over with. Give me the beer cart, the cocktail cart. I can't take anymore. It's like, enough. I need to go eat and unwind, whatever. But, and for years, I just don't get it. I don't get it. Well, I don't need to get it, but I do know what I do get. From his intense, fast-paced, high-stress job, that golf course, he unwinds when he plays on the weekend. Now, during the week, business is being conducted on those golf courses. So it's not the same. He's still doing something that he enjoys, but he's on. It's not the same, and so that's why when he goes and plays, takes one of the 2 weekend days he goes out there, he's going out there not talking about business, whatever.
What's that like?
And so I get that. I know exactly. So I get that. It's a decompression. One of the things he likes to do, not so much in this weather, but in the wintertime, he loves to come home, cook dinner, chop things up. That's another decompression for him.
I love to cook. He and I get that. Like, cook the kitchen. I do decompress in the kitchen. I get that.
Yeah. He loves it. I don't.
I got a question now. We've been talking about relationships. We've been talking about self-respect, and we've had some amazing guests. We've been at this, like a month and a half now?
Yeah. Oh my God. Wow. Yeah. Woo. Yeah. I'm like,
we've had,
yeah.
We've had some amazing guests who we have great relationships with, and we respect so much.
Yep.
and we've had some amazing conversations. So like let's do a little mini highlight reel if you want. Let's cap off the next 20 minutes with a highlight reel. Like
Okay.
who did you enjoy? Like I know we enjoyed all of them. Like I'm thinking like T Dot. He came in, we
Oh, I was
talked.
just gonna say Anthony.
Yeah, T Dot was amazing. I loved talking to him. He was a blast. We talked. He's got such an interesting view of life, but mostly he's entertaining. Like he whipped out Barack Obama on
I
us.
know.
He talked everything you asked him. Like you would be like, hey, politics. Hey, religion. Hey, emotions. Hey,
Hey,
veganism. And he's like,
right,
here is my
and
list.
racial point of views. I mean, here's, Anthony is, this is radio, so you really can't see. So I'm going to state he's an African American man. He is hilarious, and I really like him a lot, and I don't even know him that well, And he started in with the Black Lives Matter, and just point blank said, "This is keeping segregation alive, people. My race, Black Lives Matter, is keeping segregation alive. It's got to stop." I mean, I was like, "Whoa, okay."
Yeah, when he
On
came
that
out the
one.
gate with that, I was like,
Yeah,
shit, it's that kind of show.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
It was our first guest. And then like after that, we got in Cole Johnson.
Yeah, cool. So
My God, what a show.
yeah, he just beautiful insights from Cole, and he's
And that
just
voice though.
oh please that radio voice. Oh my God, and Cole is a really he's just a really good guy. He's just a good guy. I mean, what you hear is what you get, and
hmm
he's just a good guy.
And it's amazing because his show deals around sports, it deals around scandal, it deals around stats and elitism, all kinds of things, right? But because he's got such a deeply rooted spiritual connection with life, man, I'd be amazed to see this guy get angry. Like he just has such he's so in tune and so well versed, and he's got such a healthy outlook on things.
Well,
I love it.
he blows me away that Cole, he chooses not to, he chooses not to curse, but that's what he used to do for a living, he said. Remember
Right?
he goes, I was so angry. When he was describing that on the show, I can see him walking into the room and putting out his hand and go, "Fucking nice to meet you," or how the fuck are you, just out the gate and
Like
just
I did right at the
yeah,
beginning.
and just
Cole, I'm
and
fucking glad you're
agitate.
here.
Yeah, and just agitate people because he said he was just so angry, and it wasn't until he came to terms forgiving himself and stepping into gratitude, and it allowed him to forgive
Surrender.
others and surrender and just and change. I mean, and he talked about scriptures, how scriptures changed his lives. And by the way, the messages to scriptures, I don't read the Bible. I have a really cool Bible. It's Old and New Testament. And in the New Testament part, it goes into explanations of some of the scriptures. It's really cool. I mean, just like to everyday life. Those scriptures can be mantras for people that are meditating. I'm big I am positive affirmation statements. Those scriptures can replace a I am affirmation statement. So those scriptures really changed Cole's life. And, and he stands on the platform of, look, if it's not scriptures that are going to change it around for you, find what's going to work for you and change it up,
Yeah.
people. Change it
Because
up.
let's face it, when you pull the religion and pull the stories, like,
Yep.
the actual religious language away from the scriptures, they're literally just moral guidelines on how to live a decent life. That's all they
really
are. That's all it comes down to. But people get caught up again because religion is another way to diversify people. So far, we've hit race, we've hit religion. Those are the two things. Those two things cause differences in people, right?
We've got we've got some pretty intense. Oh my God, I can't talk. Intense topics coming up, I guess, on our show.
I know.
mean, really intense. But we can touch base that in a minute. And then after that, we had Chris Kelly. Who I don't even know her, but I adore her. I like her. I'm connected with her. She's an actress, a recording artist. She lives out in LA. She has the LA life, so to speak, being an actress, in that
it's
industry.
That foundation she has that she started. That's amazing.
And she, every day, she reaches out and, okay, this guy's losing his house. He needs help with his dog. And the people that jump in, or the little white fluff balls, I call those the, the designer dogs. That blew me
Yeah.
away when she said they're running all over the streets out here. She goes, so many people have those dogs. They're running all over the streets. And I'm like, oh my God, I've never seen those little white flip flops. I see more, I see more like the pit bulls when I go into Detroit, knock on wood, which I've not seen in a while, wandering the streets. But talk about a big, huge heart and very grounded, because she lives in a society of pain. We're such a throwaway society. People just driving down a road and, oh, I kind of want my dog anymore and dump him, which I completely forgot. A year ago, April, we were up north and coming back on Sunday, we're driving down this 2-lane highway and I'm like, stop, Steve, pull over. There's a dog. And he's like, what? Turn the car around. There's a dog on the side of the road, that was a whole other story. I don't want to take up time for that, but we ended up rescuing a white young he was like a Spanky dog, the little rascal dog, but he was white. Yeah. Oh, this dog was pure white with the most crystal blue eyes. Young.
Was it a Jack Russell?
No, he was big. He was long. He had some pity in him. He was big.
Okay.
I've got Grace in the back seat, so I took a risk and he sat on my lap because we had to drive in. We had to drive far to get him into this rescue place. And the police officer, the county sheriff met us there. And I looked at him and he looked at me and I went, God, this guy's got a collar. I hope the people come and find him. And before I finished my sentence, the officer looked at me and I looked at him and I went, he was dumped. Someone just dropped him off.
Yeah. And I love that Chris Kelly has that whole foundation built for this reason. Like she's out there rescuing and hustling and like literally getting into confrontations with people for the animal's best interest. And I love that about her. Like it was so fun. Mind you, that episode is my favorite episode to date for completely selfish reasons. But the fact that she has such a solid thing going made me so happy. Like, I'm so glad I got to yell cockfight on her episode above everybody else's. Like, if I had to pick one episode to make my favorite, that is the one for 2 reasons.
Yeah, because she's doing more than just dogs and cats out there in the LA area. Roosters and horses and and
she's rescuing them all.
The cockfighting is huge right now. We thought pit bull fighting was bad. The cockfighting is even worse.
Oh, it's horrible. And like I don't know if anyone like knows roosters or has experience with roosters. The people who do, they're gonna absolutely like agree with me. Roosters are horrible people. Like roosters are so mean. They have like these big claws and they're not afraid to use them. So when you think of 2 roosters like fighting it out, that's not a pretty scene. It's cruel as hell and people are putting money on it. So the fact that Chris is involved in just that, like she's not just taking on the cute pets and the stuff that people feel bad for. She's literally getting in and she's just animals, period.
Yeah, she's really cool. She's a really cool person. And by the way, that is a nonprofit organization Chris has set up. And if you're looking for a place to donate a couple dollars to help with her organization, make it. $5. That's all. She would take that with open arms. By all means,
Chris Kelly Foundation.
The Chris Kelly.org Foundation. And then last week was Paul.
And that was awesome. Like hearing his story about like just going into the Amazon, the pilgrimage, the spirit, like basically the spirit quest is what I call it as a joke, but it's a pilgrimage. And to hear a guy so open-minded who has talking to so many different spiritual backgrounds and he does not judge anybody. He literally takes it all in with open arms, whether you're into the Bible or psychedelics. He's like, hey, I'm here to talk. Let's do that. And man, that was an eye-opening conversation for me.
Yeah. I
loved that.
It certainly was an eye-opening conversation, especially him coming from a CPA background, a very traditional, educating, intense CPA background, and then walking away and like going into the Amazon and really going on a journey and finding himself, and then coming back and now he's very spiritual and leads but he's very. I don't want people to think that Paul is woo-woo because he's not woo-woo at all.
No, he's very factual. Like he's based on a fact, but he entertains the idea that, everyone's got their own spiritual journey and that he won't judge you on it. But he did mention that he's had to call people out on their bullshit before. He has mentioned it.
Well, I think a lot of people need to be called out on their bullshit, quite frankly, if you want my opinion.
I
You
always
know,
want your
so
opinion.
yeah, you know, I
That's a
mean, yeah.
dangerous thing to say, but
Oh, Scotty boy. Ooh, here we go. But yeah, and then today it's you and I, and we kicked off our show 6 weeks ago with just you and I, and I we have been a little
just the
tanked.
two of us.
We have been, yeah, just the two of us. Yeah, we should have that song playing today. And we have been pretty tame today, but I really want everyone to understand here. This is this is a platform where people get to talk about their expertise, so to speak, their beliefs, and they don't get to hold back because in August we have an outstanding woman, Joanne, coming on, who's an activist for transgender, and
Excited.
she is also stands strong for transgender at the which you'll hear at the age of 65. She went through a very long, painful, enduring surgery, and she lives in Kentucky. Not quite the most favorite place. I mean, Kentucky's great, but I don't think I'd want to be spouting that I'm transgender and stand for that. And because you're getting in the South there, but she does. She was a very predominant trial lawyer, but she's going to be on 2 weeks in a row. The first show, she'll talk about the emotional that goes on with people that are out of sorts within their body. And this is just not, oh, hello, I'm fat and I hate myself.
Yeah, no, this is different.
Well, this is far different. And then she'll go into the second week, she's going to get into more of the legalities and the political end of it and what's going on.
That's going to be an insane show. I'm so looking forward to that. I got questions.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. We got Kate Gardner coming up, and Kate Gardner really talks about, the integrity and how people are just losing it left and right. Gosh, we've got a lot of amazing things coming up. We've got, Rach Wilson coming up at the end of July. Her and her husband live in open marriage, both second marriages, and they live an open marriage. And I'm really looking forward to how they manage that, how that's accepted, how they deal that with raising kids and things like that.
Being a serial monogamist, I'm looking forward to that one. That's going to that show is going to be real educational for me. So I really like that. But I'm thinking today's show I really enjoyed, because we got to hit on relationships a little bit and talk about that. But I think today's takeaway, if you're going to take anything away from today, it should definitely be self-respect, self-worth. Have enough worth for yourself that anyone who comes into your life cannot extinguish it. Let your light shine bright. Figure out what your light is. Figure out what it is you stand for. Right down to what it is you eat and enjoy eating. And then don't let anyone take that shit away from you. Because you are a mixture of everything you enjoy, everything you dislike, you can't stifle that. And the second you start stifling it for someone else's happiness, you're living life for someone else. And everyone says cliche, live life for you, don't live life for someone else, don't bow down to man. But it's easier said than done. You have to check yourself often and make sure that you're actually doing things that make you happy and resonate with you. So I think that for me is today's takeaway, is just have self-worth and bring it with you into every relationship you walk into.
Yeah, I agree with you. And don't try and cram your beliefs down people's throats. I don't like that. It's a turnoff. I love listening to people's opinions and beliefs. That's how I learn and that's how I grow. But when you start trying to, you're going to vote for Donald Trump. Well, I don't like you anymore. And I thought you were a highly educated woman. You know what I got to say to that? Fuck you and the high horse you rode in on. I vote who I want to vote for. So don't, that's a really good example. Cause again, we are in a presidential election year here, but,
yes.
It's like, don't start doing that shit and don't insult me by saying I thought you were an educated woman. I get to vote who I get to vote for.
You respect yourself enough to stand by your fucking decisions. And there are a lot of women out there who need to learn from that example.
Yeah.
And men too, myself included. There's a lot of men, guys, respect yourselves. Just because she wants another purse doesn't mean she needs one. It doesn't mean she's going to love you more if you buy one. Respect yourself. Do what's important to you.
Yep. Gosh, boy, we're right here to the top of the hour. So, Scott, thank you so much for taking this invitation of stepping in. every Wednesday at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love the show. I look forward to hearing your voice. I look forward to Nesha serving us beer and clearing his throat and keeping us in line.
Yeah, that guy, he's something else. I love him.
Yeah, he's a good guy. And
you know what? Your whole production team is badass. All of them.
Yeah, they are. They are. Ingrid, Damian, Nesha, they are badass. They really, truly are. They're good peeps, and I can't speak highly enough of them. They're awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
And that is time.
It
we
is.
Are there.
We are at the top of the hour. So join Scott and I, same place, same time, right here next week, and make it a down and dirty week. Woo woo!
Have a good one.